button, this button. And there we go. There we are. Can everybody see that? If you can't see that, let me know. I think you should all be able to see that. So, everybody ready? We're going to go on to the first round. And the first round this week is the sport round. Sport round up first. And our first question is related to one particular sport. Which sport's 4 major competitions are the Australian Open, the French Open, the US Open, and Wimbledon? Which sport's 4 major competitions are the Australian Open, French Open, the US Open, and Wimbledon? And the picture we've got here is a picture of the person who referees that sport, sitting in his big tall chair. Okay, it's not called a referee, it's called something else. I'm sure we can all work it out. So that's question 1. Australian Open, French Open, US Open, Wimbledon. Moving on to question 2. What is the name of the video review system in football? Is it TBD, SMH, or VAR? Which 3-letter abbreviation is the name of the video review system in football? Is it TBD, SMH, or VAR? All right, on to question 3 we go. Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan are all famous for playing which sport? Is it cricket? Is it rugby? Or is it basketball? Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan are all famous for playing which sport? Is it cricket, rugby, or basketball? Question 4. This is a little cutout of the Commonwealth Games medal table. I have obscured the name at the top. What I want to know is which Southern Hemisphere nation finished top of the overall medal table at the Commonwealth Games. So which country scored the most gold medals at the Commonwealth Games? And you can see part of the table there, so you know, for example, it wasn't New Zealand. It's a different Southern Hemisphere country. Question is, which one scored the most medals? I'll tell you, they won all the track cycling golds, which was very annoying. All the Brits kept coming second. Have a few seconds on that one for anyone who still doesn't know. And on we go to question 5. I will go back through the questions again at the end of the round. Here we are. Eddie Hall is a famous English strongman, former world's strongest man. He's known for breaking the world deadlift record. But how much weight did he lift? Did he lift 350 kilos? Did he lift 500 kilos? Or did he lift 830 kilos? And you can see a picture of him there with his world record lift. But how much weight is he lifting? This was, I think, 2018 or 2019. So it was about 3 or 4 years ago. It was a really, really big deal in the whole sort of strength sports world. So any sort of bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, anything like that, this was what they were talking about. It was a huge thing. It was the first time that anybody had ever got close to this. He broke the old record by something like 40 kilos. So it was an incredible feat of strength. But how much did he lift? Right, we'll go back through just briefly. Question 1, 4 major competitions: Australian Open, French Open, US Open, Wimbledon. Which sport has those major competitions? Question 2, what is the name of the video review system in football? Is it TBD, SMH, or VAR? Which one is it? Question 3, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan are all famous for playing which sport? Is it cricket, rugby, or basketball? Question 4, which Southern Hemisphere nation finished top of the overall, medal table at the Commonwealth Games? And you can see part of the table there to give you a bit of a helping hand. And question 5, Eddie Hall is a famous English strongman and former world's strongest man. He's known for breaking the world deadlift record, but how much weight did he lift? Was it 350 kilos? Was it 500 kilos? Was it 830 kilos? Which one do we think it was? All right. Everybody happy with that? We all good? Are we ready to move on? If we need to go back and look at other, hang on, I just want to check something. I think we're okay. We're okay. Sorry, I was just checking up on something. Don't worry about it. So next round is all about France. Our neighbors just across the channel. This round is all about France. So you can expect some France-themed questions for this one. So without further ado, moving on, our first France question. Located in central Paris, what is the name of this landmark? Nice big pointy lit up thing. What is it called? I have been to Paris, but I've never actually been to visit that. I've been to visit most of the other things, but we didn't get time to go and visit that one, unfortunately. What is the name of this landmark? Okay. Moving on to question 2, we have, what is the French word for hello? Is it Verdon, demain, or bonjour? And the reason I've put a France round in the quiz is because I'm actually trying to learn French. So this seemed like an appropriate question. It's going okay, but I'm still not any good. We'll get there in the end. What's the French word for hello? Is it Verdon, demain, or bonjour? All right. And on we go for question 3. Don't worry if you haven't got it yet. I will go back through them. Who is the current president of France? Is it Emmanuel Macron? Is it Charles de Gaulle? Or is it Marcel Proust, who sounds like they might be the current French president? Is it Emmanuel Macron? Is it Charles de Gaulle? Or is it Marcel Proust? And that picture is of the Élysée Palace, which is the official residence of the President of France. It's a little bit nicer than number 10 Downing Street, I think. Always have a good sense of style. Right, moving on for question number 4. Question number 4. Which range of mountains is Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in France, in? Is it in the Caucasus? Is it in the Alps? Or is it in the Carpathians? Which range of mountains is Mont Blanc in? Is it the Caucasus? Is it the Alps? Or is it the Carpathian Mountains? Caucasus, the Alps, or the Carpathians? And our final question of the round, what is the name of this long, thin type of French bread? What is this type of bread called? Very long, very thin. You can buy it all over the place. You can buy it in Britain. You can buy it in France. Very, very popular. What is it called? I don't need a specific, I just need a general name for that type of bread. Right, we're going to run through those again just briefly. Question 1, located in central Paris, what is the name of this landmark? Built in the 1800s for the Paris exhibition. It was only actually meant to be a temporary thing. I think it was only meant to be up for the duration of the exhibition, but they decided it was so spectacular and everyone liked it so much that they would actually keep it afterwards. So it was built to be pulled down and was then, still standing about 140 years later, I think it's been. So it's quite impressive. There's a great story that when the Nazis took Paris in the Second World War, the French disabled the lifts so that the Nazis would have to walk all the way up the stairs if they wanted to get to the top. Just a little bit of petty revenge. Question 2, what is the French word for hello? Is it Verdon, demain, or bonjour? Nothing clever to say about this one, just a straightforward question. Question 3, who is the current president of France? Is it Emmanuel Macron? Is it Charles de Gaulle? Or is it Marcel Proust? I'll give you a bit of a hint here. Out of these 3, 1 is the current president of France, 1 is a former president of France, and 1 was never president of France. So 1 is the current president, 1 is a former president, and 1 was never president out of these 3. Question 4, which range of mountains is Mont Blanc in? Is it in the Caucasus, the Alps, or the Carpathians? Caucasus, the Alps, or the Carpathians? If I tell you, it might help as well to know that only one of those mountain ranges is actually in France. The other 2 are considerably further east. Only one of those mountain ranges is actually in France. So if you know which one that is, you know where Mont Blanc is. Question 5, what is the name of this long, thin French bread? And you're not getting any hints here. You're just going to have to know it. Right, moving on to our final round, and our final round, as ever, is general knowledge. General knowledge question number 1. What is the capital city of Scotland? It's got a great big castle in it. That's the castle. What is the capital city of Scotland? And if anyone, I don't know if anyone can see this picture on my wall. That is another place in this city. And the reason I have that picture is because that place is where I proposed to my wife. She happily said yes. Question from Catherine. You unmute yourself for a moment. Sorry?
Can I have a clue, please?
A clue?
Yes,
okay, well, a clue. There are a few cities in Scotland. There are 2 big major cities. Glasgow is one. It's not Glasgow. It is the other one. Okay. It's not Glasgow.
What is the other one called?
What?
What is the other one called?
Well, that's the answer to the question, you see.
Okay, thank you.
I can't tell you that. I'm trying to think. It does start with an E.
E.
Starts with E.
Thank you.
The clue as I can give you starts with E. Capital city of Scotland. Question 2. England's largest island, located off the coast of Hampshire, shares its name with a colour. What is it called? It's the Isle of something. The Isle of something. It's right down on the south coast. It's just off the very southern part of England. Southampton is just, in this picture here, Southampton is just off screen to the north. So it's very close inland. I think it's about 70 miles around. So it's quite big and it shares its name with a colour. It is the Isle of what? And I think it used to have a hovercraft link. So you would drive your car onto a massive, great hovercraft. The hovercraft would go across to the island and you would drive your car off the other side. I only know that because I love hovercrafts. Question 2, England's largest island. Question 3, which traditional English dance is performed by dancers wearing bells and carrying handkerchiefs or sticks, often outside a pub? You can see a picture of them doing it there. Some unkind people say that the reason it's done outside the pub is because nobody would do that if they were sober. My dad really likes this. He doesn't actually do it, but he loves going down and watching it. And he says it's a great pity that England only has one traditional dance and all we do is laugh at it. It is quite funny though. It's a particular type of dance. It's often, there'll be someone playing an accordion and there's normally about 6 people dancing at the same time. You can see they've got some sticks in the picture. They beat those sticks on the ground, they hit the sticks together and they dance around each other. Okay, and it normally happens in springtime. So you'll see this happen quite a lot in sort of May, round about then. You don't really see it very much other time because it's a traditional thing to welcome the new year, welcome the spring. What is it called? Question 4, this is a London question. Tradition has it that in order to be a true Cockney, you must be born within the sound of what? So to be a true Cockney, you have to be born within the sound of a certain thing. You have to be able to hear a certain thing from the place where you were born. Is it boats on the River Thames? Is it the bells of Bow Church? Or is it the choir of St. Paul's Cathedral? Now, this is probably the hardest question on the quiz. Tradition has it that in order to be a true Cockney, you must be born within the sound of what? The boats on the Thames, the bells of Bow Church, or the choir of St. Paul's Cathedral. The Cockney is someone who's, sort of East End of London, speaks with that rhyming slang or that very strong East End accent. If anyone's ever seen Only Fools and Horses, which is where this picture is from, the 3 of them were all Cockneys. That is question 4. Moving on to the final question, the quiz. Which birds live at the Tower of London and are said to predict disaster if they ever leave? You can see a pair of them just there. Okay, pair of them just there, and I will give you a hint on this. They are not crows. They look like crows. They are not crows. They are slightly larger, and instead of cawing, they make a croaking sound. What are they called? Which birds live at the Tower of London? Okay, back to question 1 again, starting with an E. What is the capital city of Scotland? What's the capital city of Scotland? Famous for its castle, famous for Arthur's Seat, the extinct volcano, famous for its big main high street, which is called the Royal Mile. Got another big famous street called Prince's Street, a big hill in it called the Mound, all sorts of things. Capital city of Scotland. Question 2, England's largest island, located off the coast of Hampshire, shares its name with a colour. What is it called? Picture of it there. It's the Isle of something. Question 3, which traditional English dance is performed by dancers wearing bells and carrying handkerchiefs or sticks, often outside a pub? See it just there. Question 4, tradition has it that in order to be a true Cockney, you must be born within the sound of what? Is it the boats on the Thames, the bells of Bow Church, or the choir of St. Paul's Cathedral? And question 5, final question, quiz. Which birds live at the Tower of London and are said to predict disaster if they ever leave? So I'll give you a minute or so just to go through your answers, make sure you're happy. And if you want to hear any questions again, let me know, or if you want any more hints for any of the questions, let me know and I'll see what I can do. And in a couple of minutes, we will go through the answers. Okay, everybody ready? We're going to go through the answers now. Rattle through these. So, answers to the sport round. Question 1, which sports 4 major competitions, etc., etc. The answer is tennis. Tennis. Question 2, what is the name of the video review system in football? The answer, of course, is VAR. VAR, Video Assistant Referee, is what it stands for. I learned that whilst I was writing the quiz. Didn't know that before. Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan are all famous for playing which sport? This, of course, is question 3, and the answer is basketball. They're all basketball players. Question 4, which Southern Hemisphere nation finished top of the overall medal table at the Commonwealth Games, very often beating the Brits into second place, which is very annoying. It was, of course, Australia. Australia finished top. Question 5, Eddie Hall is a famous strongman, etc. Broke the deadlift world record, but how much did he lift? He lifted 500 kilos. The first man ever to lift half a ton. The previous record, which he held, was 460 kilos. So he managed to put an enormous amount onto the record. Records like this normally go up by 1 or 2 kilos at a time. So for him to put 40 kilos on it was just an incredible feat of strength. First man to lift half a ton. France round. Moving on to the France round. Question 1, located in central Paris, it is the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, designed by the architect Gustave Eiffel for the Paris exhibition. Question 2, what is the French word for hello? Is it Verdun, demain, or bonjour? Well, Verdun is a region of France, famous for its Gorge de Verdun, with the Blue River snaking through it. Demain is the French word for tomorrow, and bonjour is the correct answer. Question 3, who is the current president of France? Is it Emmanuel Macron, Charles de Gaulle, or Marcel Proust? Well, Marcel Proust was a famous novelist. His great work was À la recherche de temps perdu, which means in search of wasted time. It's about that long, enormous great book. Very few people ever read it, but he's very famous anyway. Charles de Gaulle was president of France, but he was president in the 50s and 60s. The current president is Emmanuel Macron. Question 4, which range of mountains is Mont Blanc in? As I said before, only one of these mountain ranges is actually in France, and that range is the Alps. Both the Caucasus and the Carpathians are considerably further east. The Carpathian Mountains are where Dracula comes from, if you've ever heard of Dracula the vampire. Question 5, what is the name of this long, thin type of French bread? It is, of course, a baguette. Okay, time for our general knowledge round. What is the capital city of Scotland? It is Edinburgh. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland. Question 2, England's largest island that shares its name with a colour. Now, I don't want anybody splitting hairs and telling me this is not a colour. I say it is. It is the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight. Question 3, which traditional English dance is performed by people carrying handkerchiefs or sticks, often outside a pub? It is Morris dancing. Morris dancing is the answer there. If you've never seen a Morris dance, next year, you probably won't be able to see one this year. Next year, go out and see one. It's well worth seeing, especially if you are inclined to have a little bit of a laugh at them in their silly costumes. Question 4, like I said, this is probably the hardest question. Tradition has it that in order to be a true Cockney, you must be born within the sound of the Bow Bells. You must be born within the sound of the bells of St Mary le Bow Church in order to be a true Cockney. The bells of Bow Church. And our final question, which birds live at the Tower of London and are said to predict disaster if they ever leave? They are ravens. Ravens is our final answer. Okay, I'll give everyone a minute to tot up your scores. Okay, how did we do? Oh, that looks very good there. We've got some strong submissions so far. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's see, what else have we got?
3 out of 3.
You did really well. That's very strong. What have we got here? Looks pretty good to me. Some good answers there. Anyone else want to show their answers? You can have another minute or so if you want to. That is fine. Okay, everybody, really well done. I hope we all enjoyed the quiz. What did we all think? Was it too hard or too easy or about right? Think it was about right? Okay, I'll try and make the next one similar sort of level. Okay.
About right. It's about right.
About right. There's some challenging ones, but some ones you could probably get as well. Perfect. Right. Really well done, everybody. I hope we enjoyed it. Now, does anybody have any requests for rounds they want me to put in the next quiz? Anyone have a topic they'd like me to try and do? Don't worry if you don't, I can think of something. But if anyone's got anything they'd love to, Catherine?
Karaoke.
Karaoke?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure how I would do a karaoke round. How would I do that? Would everyone have to sing a song?
Yeah.
Music.
Music. I might do a
Right.
general music one. I'll see if I can squeeze in something karaoke.
Thank you.
So try and do a music one. Okay, well done, everybody. We're going to finish there, I think. Let me figure out how to do that. If I press that.